The rain was already hammering the tin roof of Jake Harlan's single-wide trailer when his phone buzzed against the coffee table. He wiped grease from his hands onto a rag that had once been white, glanced at the screen, and snorted. The text was meant for Sarah from the diner. Hey gorgeous, if you're closing tonight, save me a slice of that pie and a smile. He'd typed it fast, thumb still slick from fixing the carburetor on his ancient pickup. But the name at the top wasn't Sarah. It was E. Langford Starr. The contact he'd added months ago when the richest woman in 3 counties had called about a busted gate at the old mill. He'd saved her number out of professional courtesy. He'd never used it. Until now. 5 minutes later, headlights cut through the downpour and stopped right in front of his sagging porch. A black SUV, sleek as a shark. The driver's door opened. Out stepped Elena Langford. Hair twisted in a knot that cost more than Jake's truck, coat worth more than his yearly rent, barefoot in the mud, holding a phone that still glowed with his message. Jake's heart tried to climb out of his throat. "Ma'am, that was an accident." Elena looked up at the trailer, the leaking gutters, the single plastic chair on the porch where his daughter Lily colored with broken crayons. Then she looked at him. "You always flirt with accidents, Mr. Harlan." Before he could answer, the sky cracked open. Thunder rattled the windows. Lily's cry came from inside. Jake moved on instinct, but Elena was already climbing the steps, coat flapping like a cape. She pushed past him into the dim living room where Lily, 6 years old and terrified of storms, clutched a stuffed rabbit with one ear missing. "Hey, little storm fighter," Elena said, kneeling so her silk blouse brushed the threadbare carpet. "I'm Elena. That thunder's just the clouds bowling." "They're bad at it." Lily peeked out. "Do they ever get strikes?" "Only when they're showing off." Elena's voice was low, warm, nothing like the Ice Queen rumors that swirled around her name. Jake stood frozen in the doorway, rain dripping from his hair. This was the woman who owned half the state, timber rights, mineral rights, 3 factories, and the only hospital within 50 miles. The woman who'd fired his cousin for missing 2 shifts. The woman whose signature could erase his tiny roofing business with one phone call. And she was on his floor, making his daughter giggle. The lights flickered. The power died. "Generator?" Elena asked. "Out back. Needs diesel." "I'll help." She was already moving, rolling up sleeves that probably cost more than his toolbox. They worked in the dark, rain needling their skin. Jake siphoned fuel from his truck while Elena held the flashlight between her teeth. Her manicured hands turned black with grease. When the generator coughed to life, she laughed, actually laughed, like a kid who'd just won a prize. Inside, Lily had fallen asleep on the couch under Elena's coat. Jake covered her with a quilt his mother had sewn before the cancer took her. He turned to Elena, who was studying the photos on the wall, Jake in his Marine uniform, Jake holding newborn Lily outside the NICU, Jake and his late wife, Mia, laughing on a pier. "You fixed my gate," Elena said quietly. 6 months ago. "You didn't charge me full price. You paid what you could. I don't kick people when they're down. My father would have called that bad business." "Your father's not here." "No," she said, voice catching. "He's not." The storm raged outside, but inside the trailer it felt still. Like the eye of something enormous. Elena stayed until dawn. She made coffee with grounds older than Lily. She let Jake's dog, a mutt named Sarge, sleep on her lap. When the rain slowed to a whisper, she stood at the door. "I should go." Jake nodded. "I'll delete your number. Won't happen again." She tilted her head. "What if I don't want you to?" He blinked. "Ma'am?" "Elena." She stepped closer. "And I'm asking you to dinner. Tomorrow. My house. Bring Lily. She can feed the koi. Jake opened his mouth, closed it. You don't even know me. I know you climbed my roof in a thunderstorm to patch a leak for a tenant who hadn't paid rent in 3 months. I know you work doubles at the mill and still coach t-ball. I know your daughter calls dandelions wish flowers. She smiled, soft. I want to know more. The next night, Jake drove his rattling truck up the winding drive to Langford Manor. Lily wore her best dress, faded purple with a ketchup stain shaped like Texas. Elena met them at the door in jeans and an apron, flour on her cheek. I burned the roast, she confessed. But the macaroni's edible. They ate in the kitchen, not the dining room with the chandelier. Lily named every koi in the pond. Elena listened like each fish's life story mattered. After Lily fell asleep in a guest room bigger than Jake's trailer, Elena poured 2 glasses of wine on the back porch. I'm not good at this, she said. People. Feelings. I sign papers. I close deals. I don't do this. Roofing's easier, Jake admitted. Nails don't talk back. She laughed, then grew quiet. My father built this empire on fear. Everyone owed him. I thought that's how power worked. She looked at Jake. You have power too. You just don't use it to hurt people. He set his glass down. I'm a single dad with $43 in my checking account. That's not power. It's everything. The challenges came fast after that. The town gossiped. Asterisk gold digger. Charity case. Ice Queen thawing for a handyman, asterisk Jake's crew teased him mercilessly. His ex-mother-in-law called Elena a corporate succubus. Elena's board of directors scheduled an emergency meeting. Fraternizing with contractors is a liability. Then the real storm hit. A nor'easter barreled up the coast, worse than any in 20 years. Jake's phone exploded, roofs collapsing, trees through windows, the senior center flooding. He kissed Lily goodbye at dawn and drove into the chaos. Elena was already there, in work boots and a ponytail, directing her private helicopter to airlift supplies. They worked side by side for 3 days. Jake on ladders, Elena on the ground passing shingles. She learned to swing a hammer. He learned she cursed in 3 languages when she smashed her thumb. On the 4th day, they reached Mrs. Delgado's house, the elderly widow whose roof Jake had patched for free last spring. The chimney had collapsed, trapping her inside. Jake went in through the window. Elena followed, ignoring his protests. The house groaned. Beams cracked. Jake found Mrs. Delgado in the kitchen, unconscious under fallen plaster. He lifted her, but the ceiling sagged. Elena braced a 2x4 against it with shaking arms. Go, she yelled. Not without you. They crawled out together, Mrs. Delgado between them. The roof caved seconds later. In the ambulance, Elena's hands wouldn't stop trembling. Jake held them until the shaking stopped. That night, the news ran the story, billionaire heiress saves widow in daring rescue. Elena hated it. She sat on Jake's trailer steps, head in her hands. They think I did it for optics. Did you? She looked up, eyes fierce. I did it because you were inside. And I couldn't, her voice broke. I couldn't lose you. Not after Mia. Not after everything. Jake knelt in front of her. I'm not going anywhere. But the board disagreed. They gave Elena an ultimatum. End the relationship or lose controlling shares. Her fathers will have a morality clause. Conduct unbecoming a Langford. She didn't tell Jake. Instead, she started liquidating assets quietly. Selling timber rights. Auctioning art. When Jake found out, he was furious. You think I want your money? I think you deserve a life where you're not choosing between diapers and diesel. I choose you, not your empire. They fought in the rain, again. This time on the manor's front lawn, Lily watching from the window with Mrs. Delgado, who'd moved into the guest cottage to recover. Elena shouted, I'm trying to fix this. Jake shouted back, you can't fix people like projects. Silence. Then Lily's small voice from the porch, are you getting a divorce before you're even married? They both froze. Elena walked over, knelt. No, baby. We're figuring it out. Lily held up a dandelion. Make a wish. Elena closed her eyes. Blue. The seeds scattered like tiny parachutes. The resolution came from an unexpected place. Mrs. Delgado, it turned out, had been the Langford family nanny 50 years ago. She had letters, dozens of them, from Elena's father to her mother, a maid who'd died in childbirth. The letters proved Elena's father had planned to leave everything to charity if his daughter didn't learn compassion. The morality clause? A test. The board meeting was a bloodbath. Elena walked in with the letters, Mrs. Delgado at her side in a wheelchair, Jake holding her hand. She laid out the truth. Then she did something no one expected. I'm stepping down as CEO, she said. Effective immediately. The empire stays intact, but profits will fund a foundation, affordable housing, trade scholarships, roofing apprenticeships. She looked at Jake. Run by people who know what it's like to choose between groceries and a new tarp. The board voted unanimously. They were tired of being villains. 6 months later, Jake's roofing company had a new sign, Harlan and Langford Home Repairs. Elena handled the books. Jake handled the ladders. Lily had a college fund and a new baby brother on the way. They got married in the senior center they'd saved, now rebuilt with a commercial kitchen where Elena taught cooking classes to single dads. Mrs. Delgado walked Elena down the aisle, grumbling about kids these days. At the reception, Jake pulled Elena onto the dance floor. The song was old, scratchy, something Mia had loved. You know, he said, I never thanked you for showing up that night. You sent me a flirty text by mistake. Best mistake I ever made. She rested her head on his shoulder. Think we should tell our kids the story? Minus the cursing in 3 languages. Outside, the first snow of the season fell soft and quiet. Inside, Lily chased Sarge around tables, Mrs. Delgado snuck extra cake, and the town that had once whispered now cheered. Love, Jake realized, wasn't a lightning strike. It was the slow, steady work of showing up, text message by text message, shingle by shingle, choice by choice. And if you're still here, still reading, still believing that second chances can find you in a trailer park during a storm, hit that like button. Subscribe. Because the next story might be yours. Wish flowers grow everywhere. You just have to look.